G'day. So I'm not going to try to go into an in-depth review of this game as much as I like to think I can review games. I understand that I'm not that great of a reviewer, but I just needed to get off my chest that Dying Light 2 really fucking sucked. Uh, to be honest, I don't see myself ever actually finishing the game. And I really tried. I really fucking tried to play it, and at the end of the day, the game literally would not let me finish it. So really the issues I had with the game coming from the first one is the actual combat didn't feel as good as the first one. It felt lighter. The first game felt more meaty, heavier with the physics, and the ragdolls were way better. You just have to look at videos of zombies falling off rooftops in Dying Light 2 to understand that something felt off. It's almost like they went backwards with their engine and their skills as developers for Dying Light 2. The story wasn't that great. There was some, cringy cutscenes with the main villain. Some of the characters were just really fucking annoying. Barney being one of the most annoying ones to deal with. The parkour, though, was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the parkour, combined with how beautiful the world looked and the second map with all the skyscrapers and everything. That was excellent. But you can't get the wall running upgrade, or I should say, you shouldn't get the wall running upgrade, because then it goes from a really fun, engaging parkour experience to your character magnetizing onto walls randomly and trying to run across them. And it happens sporadically. Sometimes you're looking up and you try to run up the wall and your character would just start running sideways instead, and then you got to launch yourself off the building. You're fucked. You can't do anything about it. So that skill alone is a pain in the ass. Just don't even bother with it. But otherwise, the parkour was great. For some reason, the jumping was the smoothest jump I've ever seen in video games. There was no sudden jolt. There was no noise that your character would make when he jumped. There was no sort of camera jump where you could like tell the transition was coming in. It was just the smoothest jump I've ever seen, and for some reason that just really impressed me. I've never seen a game with a smoother jump before. So overall, the game was just a downgrade from Dying Light 1. That was disappointing. There was netcode issues as well in co-op, like really extreme netcode issues with our characters sort of lagging all over the place, zombies lagging. I don't recall the first game having those issues, and I did play it on release on Xbox One. I don't even really remember any gameplay issues at all from the first game, like no major bugs or anything. Speaking of, the reason I stopped playing Dying Light 2, the bugs. It was chock-a-block full of bugs. So many little things that didn't really affect the core gameplay necessarily, but really drag down the overall experience, because you're looking at all these little things happening and it just gives the feeling of an unfinished product. And it's not something you want to experience when you're playing a brand new video game. You don't want to walk around and go, oh, well, I can get from point A to point B at least, but yes, the roads were untextured and AI was popping in out of nowhere. It just makes it look cheap. And I did encounter a progress halting bug, which is where I just went, nah, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. The experience was absolutely not worth it. And I say that as somebody who finished Deathloop. That game was a lot of great elements about that game, but holy shit, from a design perspective, it really fucking sucked. If you want to hear more about that, by the way, I recommend SkillUp's video on Deathloop, because he pretty much covers a lot of stuff that I was feeling whilst I was playing the game, and really does a good job of explaining the issues with it. I'd really like to know from the people who gave it a 10 how they could fucking possibly ever give that game a 10, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So as I was saying, the bugs. Fucking bugs galore, and we're just going to go over some of the videos that I kept from my time playing, and at the end I'll show you the very last bug I encountered that made me quit the game. So in this video, it's just, like I said before, one of those sort of minor ones. There's a blue body stuck in the ground. I assume this has something to do with zombie spawns, maybe. This might be something the devs placed to indicate zombies are supposed to spawn in this room. I'm not a developer though. I don't have any knowledge of developing video games or coding or anything, so if somebody could fill me in, that'd be great. This happened quite a lot. This body sort of clips through a bit of the wall and then starts spurging out like crazy. I sometimes had bodies do this without even clipping through anything. They would just spurg out on the ground on their own. Here my mate is taking a power cable with him underwater to plug in on the other end. It gets stuck in the ground somehow. He starts freaking out. The cable starts freaking out. He actually had to let it go, even though it just still sat there static anyway, but he had to let the cable go and go grab another one and swim back across. This is one of those cringy cutscenes with the main bad guy Waltz. It just looks really cringy, really B grade. And to top it all off, Aitor is just sitting there completely bugged out, even though you can see his knives swinging around and everything. And then what makes the cutscene feel even more cringe is Aitor cops a knee to the stomach, gets thrown at me, Waltz hits the character with a baton, looks at me while I've got my eyes open and I'm reaching out, and then just leaves. Aiden, I don't know, just assumes that Aitor is dead, doesn't check for a pulse or anything, even though he is alive and comes back later. And then when you catch back up to Waltz, he thinks that he already killed you once before. All you did was hit me with a blunt object. And look, I would never want to take a baton to any region of my body. But I feel like as a bad guy, you should do more than hit somebody in the face once with a blunt object and then walk away whilst looking at their fucking open eyes. You should probably do something to make sure they're dead. It's just part of that really cringe, just really poor writing that this game suffers from. Here I've got an enemy that's dead but still walking around, searchable, even attacks me at some point. One of the other characters I really fucking despise is Barney, and here you have dialogue options to say no to his request to find his mate, who's dying anyway. The game forces you to go find him. Barney fucks off back home when you told him to wait. Your character gets annoyed about it, and then when you get to the homestead, you never confront Barney or his sister about Barney's attitude. It just goes completely unsaid. Nobody says anything. Clearly Barney is a dickhead, and any sensible person would fucking highlight that to anyone, someone, Jesus Christ, love of God, and Aiden just sits there quietly. The game suffers from this a lot, both in single player and co-op. You're forced to wait for the actual dialogue cutscene to start. And I don't know why, it's really inconsistent. Sometimes you hit the button, it starts instantly. Other times, like here, you can spam the button like crazy, and even when you've got people around you, because you need everyone together before the cutscene starts, even when everyone is there, you still have to wait. I don't know why they have such loading issues, but that was annoying. Here I've got a lens flare reflection or something off a cloud. It almost looks like there's two suns in the sky, but you see as the cloud dissipates that it's literally just a reflection. The sun is somehow reflecting one-to-one off a fucking cloud. I don't know how that made it in. Your bed to sleep in this room is not the lounge. That would be too obvious. It's 3 boxes and a sleeping bag. I feel like that must have been a joke. Surely that was just a joke, because it's way too ridiculous to have been legit. When you get the UV light, it completely fills the screen with this absolutely blinding purple flash before going back to a regular beam. I have to assume the huge flashbang that goes off is just a glitch, and that's not how it's supposed to be legitimately, because it looks disgusting. Here I am in my solo playthrough, not online, not affected by the netcode. This is fucking single player gameplay right now. And my arrow lags. I shoot an arrow and it actually fucking lags. That is ridiculous. Here, Lawan, the AI, falls off the building by accident, and whilst I'm looking at her, the game just teleports her to my building where she's supposed to be. It kicks over to nighttime when clearly the sun is out and it still looks very bright outside. If you wait another 30 seconds, the sun just completely disappears out of the sky almost. It's ridiculous how fast it transitions. We've got a fucking headless enemy here that's running around and can still be attacked. It's not until he gets drop kicked that he officially dies.
Wait. He's got no head.
Oh, there's a dude over here. He's got no weapon. And he's being hit by someone? Who the fuck is hitting him? There's a dude in here copping shots from an invisible enemy.
No, hang on. No, don't hit him for a sec. Don't hit him. Tell me what happens under this.
He just disappeared. But he was also headless for a second.
Are you seeing this? No, look behind you, John.
Oh yeah, he's running around headless. He just told me he's gonna fuck me up, and then you interrupted him with a dropkick. This random awkward cutscene where Luan starts walking off, you collapse, and when you wake up, she just says, "I thought you were gone. Cunt, did you not fucking check on me? Did you not check for a pulse or something? Why would you just walk away and then go, oh, you're there, are you?" And finally, this is the one that just really ended everything. One of my mates wasn't really feeling the game. He didn't want to play it anymore, so he decided to cut away from playing it. Me and my other mate were going to grab his save file, but he was busy playing other stuff at the time as well, so I thought, fuck it, I'll go back to where I left off. I will just do the main quests and I'll punch through my solo playthrough and just finish the game. And on this mission, I couldn't get into the container I had to get into because there was one more enemy left alive, and that enemy was inside the fucking container. I don't know when he got in there or how he got in there, but he glitched inside the container. I could hear him taunting me, and that was it. I was stuck. And, you know, I could have maybe quit the mission or the game, started again, and done it all over again. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to take this as a sign. I'm not fucking doing it anymore. I refuse to play this unfinished, unpolished downgrade of a game. And that's what it really is. That's the most disappointing thing about Dying Light 2 from the first game. So much about it just feels like a huge downgrade. How do you go from one of the best zombie games of all time in 2015 to this cookie cutter, copy paste, open world bullshit with a worse combat system than your predecessor? Even Dead Island had a more meaty, more better feeling physics system when bashing in zombies. That's what makes it feel like such a downgrade, because the prior games, even today, still play better. And that's part of the reason it's such a huge disappointment and why I think the game absolutely sucks, really. So yeah, that's my rant over. I know I'm late to the party. The game's been out for months, but I'm a lazy piece of shit, so it takes me a while to work up to start making videos. And I still had it in the back of my mind for a while, and I thought eventually I'll sit down and just talk about this, just because, well, I just wanted to get it off my chest because I was thinking about it. And do some people disagree? I would absolutely welcome, and I would love if people had some sort of, I don't know, counter to why the game doesn't suck. Love to hear that, because obviously my experience was very negative, so I've only got that experience to go off of. But anyway, rant over. I'll find something else to rant about, I'm sure. Hope you're all doing well. Until the next video, have a good one.